Hey everybody, welcome to the Flipside. I'm Sam.
I'm JT.
And thank you for joining us. I know you probably came over here from the Dice Tower where we did our bottom 5 games of 2021. This list right here is our top 5 games, numbers 5 through 1 from 2021. As we shared in the last installment over on the Dice Tower, page 13 is where the non-ranked games begin. It was 26,505 was the last ranked game from this year.
My factoids, well, first of all, that's the exact same number of pages as 2020.
That is correct.
And we thought 2020 was going to be low and 2021 was going to pick back up. So that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. But it did pick back up.
Oh, it did. We had
with
62 in the top 1,000, which is, we only had 57 last year, but that's way far away from the 89 we had in 2019.
Right.
So we're still way under the curve at this point.
Unfortunately. We're not going to make it, dude.
We're not going to make it.
Without further ado, let's go ahead and get to it. Numbers 5 to 1 from 2021. Make it so. My number 5 is a game that probably will not be on your list.
I don't think.
Because it is a remake. And you said specifically you were not including second editions and remakes and all that other kind of stuff. I don't care about that kind of thing. Assassin's Creed: The Brotherhood of Venice is my number 5.
Well, that's a significant enough remake that it wouldn't have mattered.
Oh, so are you saying something with that?
Nope, not saying nothing.
Right. Anyway, Assassin's Creed: Brotherhood of Venice, I really enjoyed its predecessor called V Sabotage. I really hate that name. V Commandos was such a better game. Yep. So much better that somebody already had it. So they had to change it to V Sabotage. But the thing is, Assassin's Creed: Brotherhood of Venice, I think, is a great skin to put over that mechanism, that system of mechanisms. Because it's all about stealth, it's all about sneaking around, it's all about accomplishing the mission without raising too much of an alarm. Because if you raise the alarm, things get really bad for you really fast. Mm-hmm. And so in order to complete the mission, you kind of have to sneak around, you kind of have to keep your presence kind of unknown. And that's one of the coolest things about the game. Most times, games like this are send the tanks in, suck up all the damage, send in the high damage people, kill everybody, and then do whatever it is you want to do. You can't really do that on this. And really the characters aren't built that way either.
No, they're not.
They're all kind of built around stealth and very surgical attacks and all that kind of stuff.
And they have one that's a little better fighter than the others or something like that, but he's not a tank.
Not a tank. You can't really take a whole lot of damage. Anyway, it's a great system of stealth management to complete the missions, and the Assassin's Creed skin that they've wrapped around it. I don't mean to downplay it. I think they did really good of integrating that IP into the mechanisms. I
think so too, and actually the skin, not just the skin, the way that the IP is in there and the way that the maps are, and it all makes sense for Assassin's Creed, like really does.
Right.
I think where I fall a little bit short in this game is because stealth is such a big thing, the maps are so small and the missions are so tight that, you know, you're only stealthing for the first quarter of the game, and then after that, it's just a race to not die.
Yeah.
It'd be great if it was played out a little bit longer, if there was better ways to go back into stealth and stealth around some more. That would be more Assassin's Creed.
That's interesting.
But it's just the first quarter, you're sneaking to where, okay, well, here's where we're going to have to give ourselves up and go for broke.
Yeah,
and then you're just going for broke and trying to get out. So
Understood. Understood. I like that. Well, that's my number 5. Assassin's Creed: The Brotherhood of Venice.
Very cool, very cool. My number 5 is a fantastic little 2-player trick-taking game called Jekyll versus Hyde. Is this on your list? No. And he said he had 11 games that were going to fit my top 10 in them, and right now you're 3 out of 6.
I was confused.
All right.
I was confused because I confused this one with Jekyll and Hyde versus Scotland Yard, which is
That's
2023.
Yeah.
I know.
But then this
I didn't write this one down.
In this one, it's competitive 2-player trick-taking game, where if you're playing the Hyde character, you are trying to get an uneven number of tricks between you, and if you're playing the Dr. Jekyll character, you're trying to stay balanced. So you want, I think it's 10 tricks, you want each of you to get 5,
right?
Whereas the other guy wants it to split so he can move down this track and turn you into Hyde.
Yep.
But it's a really cool game.
I like I like the cooperative version better.
Yeah, I know. Well, I like the cooperative version better, but this is a fantastic 2-player competitive.
Cool beans. My number 4 is a game that I know you've played because you massacred me at it, me and Jess. But I don't know if it's going to be on your list or not. But this one's called Origins First Builders. It's a really cool game about basically alien races. 5 of them have come to Earth, and they are providing advice and guidance on how to build up these different
surprise
civilizations and what have you, and what alien race you go to gives you a little bit of a bonus on what type of expansion you're going to be able to get for your civilization and all this other kind of stuff. And I just really liked it because it's a dice worker placement game. The dice, where you send your dice, determines a couple of different things. First of all, if it matches the color of the alien race that you've sent it to, then you get a little bit of a bonus action when you choose to do those actions. But it also is determined the level of die that it's at. So if it's a 4 or a 5 or a 6, that also is another kind of sieve that will either allow you or disallow you to send to someplace. So if the level of knowledge that they're teaching right now is a 3, you have to send a 3 or higher there to be able to take their thing. And I liked that little nuance of it. On top of that, there's a lot of other things that are going on, but military was kind of like the military track was the thing that I never have been able to really
I've only played
crack.
this once.
Yeah, I know.
And it's been a while, so that's why it's not on my list.
And he got to the very top of the military track, wrecked all of us.
Neat game.
But there's just a lot going on.
Yep.
It's from Board and Dice, and they are super on the track about kind of meatier, heavier games. And I don't think that this one is truly meaty or heavy, but it's one of their midweight games, which
it's a
makes
midweight game, but it has a lot of nice options.
Right. Yeah, absolutely does. Really enjoyed the theme, and it looks great on the table as well.
It's
really
a neat
pops.
Game. I haven't played it. I've only played it once, but
Yeah.
it's a very neat game.
It's got some cool scoring mechanisms as well. It's for when you're putting in all of these different tiles into your civilization and when those buildings score and how they score and different abilities that they give it. There's a lot of really cool stuff going on in this game. I really enjoyed it. Origins First Builders. It's got a good solo mode as well.
Very nice. My number 4 better be on your list as anticipated for
Hit me. Hit me!
It's called Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria.
What the heck?
You didn't put Shadow Kingdoms on there? He
No.
doesn't even know me. I don't even know.
I didn't see it.
We have been away from each other for so long that he's forgotten who I am. Jeez Louise. Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria.
No, I know you like this. I didn't see it. Stupid.
You didn't check all
I
20,000
don't.
games?
I just, when I see something, I'm like, oh, that's definitely going to be on his list.
Fair. Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria is a very cool game where you're drafting dice that are basically allowing you to attack these. There's these cards that you might have to have 2 grays and a brown to do this battle. But you're drafting these dice. You're trying to manipulate the dice to get higher pip values, to get a higher attack score. One of the coolest things, one thing that I really love, is when you have player boards that you level up or that you upgrade. So throughout the game, you're upgrading, taking off chips so you can get more influence, or taking off chips so you can hold more dice, or that your colored dice can be wild for you. All these different things, you get to upgrade your player board in multiple ways. And I really like that.
Yep.
It's a very simple as far as the dice drafting goes. It has a cool mechanism where drafting a 1 or a 6. Now the 6 you want for points to destroy the locations, but a 1, inversely may give you a better bonus or a better discount when you're buying something from one of the places. So if you take a 1, you get a really good discount. But if you take a 6, you get no discount, but you get to use it for power. So it has this cool balance there too.
That's cool. My number 3, I am 3 for
7.
3 for 7.
I didn't even think you. Yeah, I didn't think that was possible.
I know.
You better know my top 3.
I think I do.
Okay, I think you do.
Of course,
too.
I don't know anymore.
There.
I don't know anymore.
All right, what's your number 3, sir?
All right, my number 3, I believe, is going to be a crossover. And if it isn't, you, sir, are not JT. My number 3 is a game that you turned me on to. I will say, though, that the part of this game that really opened my eyes to it was Vincent Dutrade's artwork. But Final Girl is an incredibly fun game. I swear, don't say it's not on your list. Okay. You're going to kill all of my hope. I'm not
going to say anything then. You just
Dang it.
Keep talking.
Final Girl is such a good game. You don't know what you're talking about. I love this game. And it says a lot because it's a solo-only game, and I usually I was going to say hate, but I don't hate them. I just never really wanted to play them. But Final Girl, I want to play. I can't tell you how close I was to going all in on their most recent Kickstarter.
I did.
And I don't mean all in with
On
just the
all
new
of them?
stuff.
Oh.
I meant all in for all of it.
Some stuff there.
But Reason saved my pocketbook.
You can just come to my house.
That's exactly why. I was like, I can just borrow it whenever I want to.
Yep.
I don't have to buy it. But geez Louise, I super enjoy this game. All of their different, I don't know what they're called, packages or packets, scenarios.
They're not even, yeah.
I don't know what you would call it, but each one of their different storylines that you can follow, while it's basically the same idea, they're all very thematic.
Vastly different too.
And that in and of itself is amazing to me. That you're basically playing the same game with just these little nuances here and there, and it makes it feel completely different from scenario pack to scenario pack.
Yep, you can play the exact same scenario with the exact same boss, with the exact same final girl, and just that intro card, your starting setup card, can make things so much different.
Yep.
That and one event card can make things so much different.
It's an amazing game system, and it's one that I would not have expected to like so much because it's only solos. But and that's just not usually my jam. But this game is an exception.
Yep.
It's exceptionally good.
And the reason Final Girl is my number 3...
Is it?
Yes.
I knew it!
It's for all of those reasons.
I'm not a moron, people.
Yeah, no, it's my number 3 as well, actually. Is for that reason. And then the other cool thing, you already said it all, but the other cool thing about it is you can mix and match those scenarios. You can go to Camp Happy Trails and bring in the Xenomorph if you want, or bring in the Thing if you want, or take the Poltergeist house and bring in Freddy Krueger. And it's not Freddy Krueger, but you can do all those things. So everything can be mixed and matched.
They need to make a Freddy Krueger one. They don't have it. They do?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
They just don't call it. It's called Frightmare on
of course.
Something
yeah,
street,
well, they can't. Yeah, that's...
Yeah, but the Frightmare or whatever, but they have all of them. We got Pinhead coming up.
Frightmare on Pine Street.
There you go. But anyways, my number 3 is also Final Girl.
Very good. All right, I can breathe again. Well, my number 2 is one that he arbitrarily decided to not include because it is a remake of another game, another version of the game. But this is my favorite version of this game, and that's why it's my number 2. It's called Horrified American Monsters. I was not so enamored with the original one. It was good. I enjoyed it. But the Universal Monsters just didn't really
I liked them.
Yeah.
The American Monsters is an excellent step up.
American Monsters is an excellent step up. I really, really enjoy this one because of how different each of the monsters are solved. And I think they really hit a sweet spot with this one. You've played Greek Monsters as well.
Yep.
And they also had some real diversity with how those monsters are dealt with, but the rule book made it a little bit sluggish to get through.
Strange. They made a couple changes in the monster cards that I'm not a huge fan of.
Right.
And then the new version's coming out.
Yep.
With Cthulhu and a couple of other ones, which is interesting because I think it only has 4 monsters in it.
Really?
I think that's what it sounded like when I was reading it and checking into it. I think it might only have 4 monsters.
Yeah.
But in that one, you can swap with the Greek ones, I guess, or something.
Oh.
So those two are supposed to mesh somehow.
Because they're supposed to be like world monsters. It's
Yeah.
not like a specific mythos.
Yeah.
It's like everywhere around the world, so maybe you can... Okay, well, that makes a little bit more sense.
Well, we were, I think, hoping at the time that American Monsters would be the one that they could add more to.
Sure.
But
Yep.
they kind of got passed aside. But I think that is my favorite one.
Yep, that's cool. Well, that is Horrified American Monsters. It's just a cooperative game where you're basically trying to pick up certain things from one space and drop them off in another one, and you're trying to guide the different villagers to where they want to go and keep them safe. And it's just a really, really fun game.
Yeah.
And I think they really improved upon the system with this one. Maybe took a little bit of a dip with Greek Monsters just because it didn't seem like their editing was as well done on this one, on Greek Monsters as it was for this. But anyway, really enjoyed it. That's my number 2, Horrified American Monsters.
My number 2 is a legacy game, which is why I included it in here, because technically, it doesn't matter. My number 2 is a legacy game called Aeon's End, Legacy of Gravehold. This is one of our favorite games, one of mine and my wife's favorite legacy games that we've played. If you've played Aeon's End, it is you each have a wizard character or a mage character. You have these portals where you set up your spells. You are deck building to create a deck that has buying power in crystals, and then all of these different spells, whether they're utility or combat, and you're facing off against a big bad. And the way that they this game flowed, and the different baddies, and how they modified and changed, and you might see a part of one again or something different. We just had a really great time. I think this is the pinnacle of Aeon's End. And I have tons of Aeon's End stuff, but I think this was the pinnacle of the system, was the Legacy of Gravehold. So, really loved it. Was that on your list?
I wrote it down here because it was not on my list, and I literally wrote Aeon's End, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, man.
Because stupid legacy game.
Horrible. 4 out of 9.
Well, I think I'm going to get...
You had me pinned.
think I'm going to get it 5 out of 10.
All right.
Hopefully. Maybe not, because you're pulling stuff out of freaking nowhere.
All right.
All right. My number 1 is our second crossover. Probably our only. No more after this. But that is Cascadia.
Yep.
Cascadia is by far my favorite game from this year because it is one of the most fun, versatile as far as complexity wise and how many people can handle it that I've played in quite some time. I think you can have people who are seasoned gamers play with people who are newcomers, and there just seems to be a level playing field out there.
Sure.
Now, people who are seasoned gamers will probably know how to game the system better, but that doesn't, sometimes with games that lessens the fun of the newcomer.
Sure.
But with this one, it doesn't.
Yeah, until scoring.
Yeah, until scoring happens.
Sure.
But while you're playing the game, you're still having the same amount of fun as everybody else.
I like that way to look at it. That's very true.
It's absolutely a great experience. And I just, everything that JT has said about it, I love, the tile placement about it, putting your different biomes together. I love going after the You know, the one thing that I really like the most about it is using those pine cones and being
they
able
can
to
do a lot
choose
of
two
cool
different things.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's so fun because it keeps you from getting stuck into doing something that you can't really do, but you got to keep up and keep that economy of those pine cones going. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy the what is it called? Landmarks.
Landmarks.
There we go.
Same thing.
I love the landmarks because it gives you another thing to do, and it gives you more things to possibly score at the end of the game. Now there is that thing where it kind of makes your board a little tighter.
I like that though.
Yeah,
it makes it looser at the beginning, but it makes it tighter overall.
Exactly.
And I think that's really cool.
Yep. Really enjoy it. So, Cascadia, especially with the landmarks expansion, but you don't need it. But Cascadia in and of itself, by itself, is a great game. So that's my numero uno.
Number one, Cascadia.
Yes,
all
sir.
Right. My number one is far and away superior to Cascadia in every way.
Oh, here we go.
Just kidding. What is it? Come on.
All right, I have some. I'm going to say it is Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition.
That is exactly right. Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition.
Yeah.
Gives you so much of the feel of Terraforming Mars, but in a nice tight package in more of a card. Terraforming Mars is card driven, obviously, but you get rid of the central board. The tracking of your resources is smoother. The engine is better and is cleaner. And then the cool thing they add on to this one is the fact that you have that Race for the Galaxy system of cards, where everybody gets to pick a phase face down, and you flip them all over, and then you only get to do the phases that people pick. So that is a really, really cool interactive system in an awesome engine builder. This is a fantastic. This is probably, I think, is my favorite engine builder currently.
We got to play this game because I'm not a huge fan of Terraforming Mars, but you have said that this is much better than Terraforming Mars.
It is. I love Terraforming Mars. Without this one, before this one, I think Terraforming Mars would probably be in my top 20 or 30 games of all time. But this one blows it away for me. Yeah,
got it. I got 5 out of 10.
You did get 5 out of 10.
So I got 50%. That's not bad. You know, if I'm batting 500 in the major leagues, I'm making it into the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
So
I think you probably put Unsettled on there.
I did.
You probably put So Clover on there.
I did.
You might have put Radlands on there.
No, I didn't.
Oh.
Red Rising, didn't you? Don't you like that game?
Could have put Red Rising on there.
Yep.
Or Dinosaur World, maybe. Or Welcome to the Moon.
What about Seven Wonders Architects? You've said you really like that game.
That is a good game, but it's not a top 10 game. Okay. I mean, it's a little too light for me to put it
Welcome
in
to the
10.
Moon. You were just singing its praises.
Yep, I just said it right there. Welcome to the Moon. That's another good one.
All right, so see, I do know JT.
You know my top 20.
There you go. There you go.
For sure.
And then he also said that Marvel United X-Men wasn't on there because it's basically just Marvel United. But he did say that X-Men is your favorite one.
Yep.
Great Western Trail, 2nd edition. He already talked about Great Western Trail.
I did already talk about Great Western Trail.
I knew you loved So Clover.
Yep. The Crew, Mission Deep Sea.
Yep. I didn't write down that because
Crew remake.
Because you had already talked about the Crew.
Cartographer Heroes, just a Cartographer's update.
Yeah.
You know, King Domino Origins, which is the quintessential King Domino.
Yep.
There's a bunch of them. They can just keep on going. Even Cubitos, Rift Force.
I actually played 2 games at Origins for the first time that are 2021 games, and I enjoyed both of them.
Good. What are they?
Gorinto from Grand Gamers Guild.
Okay.
And then Kabuto Sumo.
Oh, yeah, the little pushy thing on
the
little parts and pieces.
Yes. I loved that game.
Crazy.
So much fun. But you can't flick it. You have to push. It's a push it. You have to push just until it enters the ring.
It's a very interesting game.
Really enjoyed that one. So that was 2 things that I wanted to mention. They have the ability to grow in how much I like them to possibly make this list in future years if we ever come back to it. But I'm not an idiot. I did have you kind
had,
of pegged.
You had my top 20 there.
I have you pegged.
Probably had my top 15 there.
Yep.
So.
But anyway, that's about it. Thank you for joining us here on the Flip Side. We appreciate it. Give that like and subscribe. Smash that bell icon so that you can so we can let you know when we have more videos coming out.
Put down in the comments what your top 10 for 2021 is, so we can
Absolutely.
see
how we fare against
your
wise choices. Actually, if they're any different from ours, you're not very wise at all.
Yeah, we're just two plebs. We don't know what we're doing.
That's probably true. All right. We'll see you guys and gals on the flip side.
Thanks for coming.
Take care.